everybody. We have a guest, Bobby, with us here today. And we're so glad she's joining us. Really what we wanted to share about was just how life with God is an adventure, that the vision and call he has for you is going to be amazing and you're going to love it. It will stretch you outside your comfort zone, but it's a good place to be.
Amen.
So, you were just on a trip.
Yes,
Where did
I
you
was.
go?
I went to Mardi Gras. The Scott Hinkle Outreach takes a group of Charis students to Mardi Gras every year, so I was blessed to go on that trip. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what really impacted you over the whole trip? I know there's always a lot coming back from a mission trip, but what stood out to you?
The power of the love of God. I think going on the trip, I was slightly terrified just because you think of like evangelism and street ministry, and I'm like, yeah, right. God, maybe you got the wrong girl on this one, but just like going out and being an extension of his love and seeing how much his love impacts people, because it really is his love that does the work. Like, I mean, in my life personally, like, it was his love that really changed me from the inside out and is continuing to do so.
That is so powerful. Is there any, like, story that specifically stood out to you of someone you got to touch?
Yes, actually, it's kind of been burning on my heart since. Have not really been able to get this interaction out of my mind very much, but one of the nights I had a free hug sign. So we had these cardboard signs that said different things, and mine said free hugs. And we were standing out on Bourbon Street, and this group of guys just walks by, and, you know, I showed the sign, and it was the last night actually. Yeah. So I've gotten very bold at this point, and I was really stepping out. And so I showed them the sign, and I like went in front of them and like held my arms open, and I was like, you know, you want a hug? And, you know, not to brag on myself, but I give really good hugs. I hug with purpose. And so one of them actually happened to be a transgender male to female, and so I just gave him a hug, and I just, you know, told him like, Jesus loves you, and he just broke, and he just started crying, and he's like I know he does, and, you know, he's like, I live my life and I just want to have fun, but I know Jesus loves me. And it was like, I didn't even know what to do at that point. Like, thinking back, I'm like, I should have said, can I pray with you? Is there something like we can stand in agreement for? Like, all these things came into my mind afterwards. But I think like it just like impacted me in such a crazy way too, because it's like, here's a person who's obviously knows Jesus, right? Maybe grew up in church, maybe was hurt by the church, maybe was hurt by someone in their family, but knows the love of God in their heart. And it was like, in that moment, to see someone who's in the world, who's not walking or following God, feel that conviction. Like, it wasn't condemnation. Like, you know the difference where it's like, no, God can't love me. Like, no, he can't want me. Like, but it was like, I know Jesus loves me. And like, to just sense that conviction, it wasn't even like he felt like, I'm dirty, God can't love me. It was like, I know he does. And like a couple hours later, they all came back by, and he came and gave me a big squeeze, and he's like, thank you so much. And I was just like, Jesus! I don't even know. It's just God.
Well, it's amazing because I know for me, I mean, just the thought of trying to minister to somebody like that would be scary for me. Like, I'd be like, okay, I don't know.
What do I say?
What do I say? What don't I say? What if I say the wrong thing? And like, it drives them away from God. Like, what? But I think something that you said before we started was so powerful. Is you're just like, it's so simple. And so much simpler than we think. Yeah. Because it's really not that scary.
No. Once you're there and like out there, I will say the first night I was kind of like taking in my surroundings. You know, this is kind of an environment that I used to be in before I really came to know Christ. And so it was awesome being there on the other side of it, but then I like got those flashes of like, well, when I was here partying, the last thing I wanted was someone to come up to me and tell me how much Jesus loves me. Like, you know, in just all honesty, like I needed it, but like my focus wasn't on God at that point. And so the first night I was just kind of feeling things out, taking in my surroundings, and I didn't interact with too many people. I didn't get to talk to too many people. But like, just seeing God like show up in that place and be in that place. And even the couple people that I did get to engage with, like seeing him in those conversations, I was like, oh, okay, this is not that hard. This is literally just having a conversation with somebody and just bringing this back to God. Like, it's not coming up to somebody and saying, hey, do you know Jesus? That's very effective. And there are people that can do that and have that like conviction to go out and like kill it. And I'm like, yes, do it for the kingdom. But like for me, like I can go and say that to someone and they say no, and I'm like, okay, cool, bye. But just engaging in a conversation with somebody that is about food or where they're from, whatever it is, and just being able to like God give you a word or just impress something on your heart for them and like bring it back to Jesus. And yeah, it's not that hard, but a little scary.
So powerful.
It's so good.
That is so good. I think it's amazing because me, personally, when I look at you, I would assume you're the person who just go out there and get them. But, like, just realizing that it's just sometimes it is the little thing that you can do that can reach somebody. And it's the way that you're going to. You're not going to do it the same as someone else, and that's okay. And that's something I've had to receive as well because, you see other people ministering and you're like, I want to be like that.
Right.
But be who God has called you to be. Yeah. Don't try to take on someone else's.
Amen.
And don't try to step into someone else's the way they do it.
Yes.
Because it's powerful the way God has put on your heart.
Yes.
And it's just amazing.
Yeah. Amen. Thanks.
You're such a blessing.
Oh, I love you. You're so sweet. Yeah. I love that. Just something I heard not too long ago is like God's giving you grace for your race. And to like, we always hear it, stay in your lane, what God's called you to. And it's so true. Like, you can't be someone else. I've seen some awesome people that can just walk up to people. Can I pray for you? Can I pray for you? Can I pray for you? I don't like rejection. I still have parts of my heart that aren't healed that, like, when people say no, I take it personally. And I'm like, are you serious? I have what you need. But, like, for me, just being able to engage with people and just to be the love of Christ. Not necessarily having to say it every single time, but being able to be the love of Christ, for me, is very effective, So.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And definitely share the video if you got blessed by it. And yeah, we'll see you again. Bye.